It's rare that an artist steps into my rotation and cements themselves as such a heavy hitter as quickly as Cleveland band People in the Daytime have. With some of the catchiest and most rewarding songwriting I've heard in a long time, unorthodox visual work, and the fact that the band themselves are absolute sweethearts, People in the Daytime are a band I can only see going up from here. Their latest record, 2025's We Can Give You Special Powers, is a step up conceptually for the band. Longer, more developed songs end up only showing off the talent contained within the band. A lot of bands find their second full-length effort to be a falter compared to a debut. People in the Daytime prove that not only will they not lose any momentum, they're only going up from here. The album starts with an overture of sorts, the title track. This track introduces melodic and lyrical concepts that we see returned to later in the project, and is absolutely gorgeous. This track leads us into our first full-length track, and maybe the catchiest damn song you'll ever hear, No You're Not Alone. Filled with falsetto hook after falsetto hook and wildly danceable instrumentation, this song has quickly become a favorite of mine. Little details like the triplet piano lick about 2 minutes in make the song feel alive and unpredictable, with something new always around the corner. This song bleeds into the next, a grainy track filled with beauty and dissonance. You Have This Power Over Me. This song was originally almost 6 minutes as evidenced by the demo included on the deluxe edition of the album, but it seems that many elements were taken from that demo and split off into later songs like Auditual Ritual. You Have This Power Over Me serves as an almost interlude, bridging the gap between the much lengthier and more grandiose tracks featured. A long and dark intro filled with reverb-heavy guitar welcomes us into a waltz full of yearning and synth riffs. How Dare You Boy? This song builds over its runtime with consistent tension until an exploding outro section is revealed, ending with distorted screaming and drums. The song then leads you out with echoes of what came before and letting you down slowly as you begin the next track As We Fall Away. Compared to previous longer tracks, this one is much slower and more subdued for the majority of its runtime. Drums do not appear until about 3 minutes into this 5.5 minute epic, coming after an extended jam section filled with strange distorted sounds. The outro of the song then almost feels like the beauty of the intro trying to overpower the distortion and noise, eventually succumbing and letting the distorted noise win. Another short interlude track in Bring Forth the Fear brings us towards the climax of the album, Auditual Ritual. It's all been leading up to this. Drum machines and warbly synths bring us forth into Auditual Ritual. The beginning vocals almost feel ghostly with a reverse reverb effect. It's important to mention that our last truly funky song was No You're Not Alone, despite that being the style permeating throughout People in the Daytime's debut self-titled album. Another explosion of synth guitar and distorted vocals brings us through to another subdued section. A sincere falsetto proclaiming I'll love you always introduces us to our last crescendo on the record. Lyrics of affirmation and shining keyboards after the ugliness of parts like the outro to As We Fall Away make the album feel resolved beautifully. Eventually, lyrics give way to an undeniable groove, which itself gives way to overlapping vocal layering of melodies that are repeated throughout the album. The sounds of synth chords and plunderphonics close out the album satisfyingly. But wait, we're not actually done. The standard edition of the album has one more track, the jaunty yet unnerving edition, Scissors Epilogue. This makes it almost feel like there's unfinished business from earlier tracks, or perhaps the conceptual elements of the album are to be continued. It's hard to say, but what I do know is that I haven't been able to stop listening to this album since I heard it. I'll be upfront. My band, We Are All Made of Stardust, played a show with People in the Daytime on their recent tour with Touchdown Jesus, another spectacular Ohio band. I initially knew People in the Daytime's bass player Anthony from his other band, Pro Skater, but hadn't listened to People in the Daytime yet. Ever since the band Tilt Controls blew me away at a show last year, I've learned that seeing an incredible band live first, then listening to the recordings, was a surefire way to fall in love. Well, shit. Looks like my method is proven, since it happened here again with People in the Daytime. After their set, I wanted so badly to see them play again, but their next gig near me was the same day as another show of my band that was in Pittsburgh. Things ended up working out though, since that gig got delayed and I was able to see People in the Daytime in their hometown of Cleveland play a 1 hour plus set filled with just about every song you'd want to hear from them. I was right up front and I loved every single second. From that moment on, I knew People in the Daytime would be a forever favorite of mine, a band I'd cherish for a long time. The record I talked about here is spectacular and something I'd recommend to anyone. The way it blends funk, plunderphonics, post-rock, dark cabaret pop, and so many other styles into something that feels so cohesive and satisfying is nothing short of impressive. Also, as someone who's had the pleasure of conversing with the band, I can tell you for certain that these folks are worth giving a shot. So, in conclusion, listen to this album and band because they're awesome and they fucking deserve it. This video is a little bit of a shorter one while I work in between bigger projects. I'm sorry it's been so long since I really uploaded here. I'm trying to get back into the groove of writing. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you listen to the album. And yeah, hope you have a good one.